evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 15th of July 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. According to the Civil Emergency Service, 9 fires have erupted in different areas of the country, including Vlora, Fier, Durrës, Berat, Tirana, Leja and Dibra in the last 24 hours. 75 firefighters, 60 military forces and helicopters are engaged in the operations for extinguishing the flames. The civil emergency specialists are keeping the situation under constant monitoring throughout the country because the danger of fires is still present due to the hot weather. The Civil Emergency Service reiterated its appeal to citizens to call emergency phone numbers if they see any signs of fire. According to the Civil Emergency Service, 40 hectares of bushes were burned in Berat and 2 hectares in Tirana. A significant surface of pines and bushes were burned in Dibra, where the firefighting teams are faced with difficulties for intervention because of the rugged terrain. 15 hectares of bushes and pines were burned in Leja, 2 hectares in Kukus and 1 hectare of medicinal plants burned in Shkodër. The Civil Emergency Service has asked for the help of Viva helicopters in order to extinguish the fires in Berat, where 40 hectares of bushes were burned. The flames were extinguished after the intervention of the helicopters. If you've made plans for the weekend, be prepared to change them as a result of the weather conditions. Meteorologists warn that beginning Saturday afternoon and continuing throughout the early part of Sunday, heavy rainfalls will dominate, especially in the southern part of the country. Rainfall is also expected in mountainous areas, and in lower areas the rainfall will be intense, accompanied by lightning and strong wind. Temperatures will decline slightly today with an overall 2 to 3 degree drop over the weekend, but from Monday to Thursday the temperatures are expected to have a growing trend again. Meanwhile, starting from today and continuing over the weekend, the intensity of the wind will gradually strengthen, being stronger in mid-hours when it is expected to exceed 50 kilometres per hour. The fire situation continues to be problematic. Today and tomorrow the risk of fires will continue to be high in the entire territory of Albania. Sunday will be categorised by a drop of wind force and a drop of temperatures, which is expected to be visible mainly in the southern part of the territory, where the risk of fires is expected to be low. Meanwhile, the Shkodër region continues to be at risk. Next week poses a particular threat to the entire territory, starting with the western part and spreading to the east. The water situation also continues to be a problem due to the prolonged drought. Meteorologists warn that the situation will deteriorate due to the drought throughout the summer and across the territory. They recommend careful use of water because of the deteriorating situation until September. During his meetings with the Democrats of Durrës, Siak and Rogojina, Lulzim Basha declared that the Democratic Party will implement the concept of the new republic, returning power to the citizens and returning democratic values. Commenting on the candidates list for elections, Mr. Basha said that this was the last time the list of candidates will have been prepared by the party's chairman. When we offered the citizens the concept of the new republic, we offered a new relation between the citizens and the politicians, direct election of members of parliament by citizens, reducing the number of MPs, empowering the citizens, and the return of democratic values which were set up 25 years ago. This will happen in the Democratic Party. Empowering Democratic Party members means decision-making. This was the last time the candidates list was submitted by the chairman. From now on, it will be the product of a transparent and comprehensive process which will reflect the votes of every member of the Democratic Party, declared Basha. He also mentioned that he considers the June 25 elections to be just like elections back in 1991, when the citizens became part of elections in a fictitious way. Money was distributed, the state cooperated with crime, administration, social care services, with controlled media from the government, which were in service of the state. The June 25 elections were also held under these conditions. The majority produced on June 25 is a fictitious majority. It does not reflect the citizens' will. It reflects the fear, despair and poverty which was deepened by this government. We are the only ones with the morals, force, strength and plan to take Albania out of the crisis. There is no light at the end of Edi Rama's tunnel, declared Basha. He concluded that the Democratic Party should continue with its path towards right causes for Albania and for having free and fair elections. During his tour of meetings with the Democrats of Durrës, Shiak, Rogojina and Fier, the candidate for DP chairman Edward Selami emphasised that the division does not help the Democratic Party to overcome the crisis. During his conversation with the Democrats, candidate Selami issued calls for the union of all Democrats, adding that the political opponents are in fact encouraging the division. Mr. Selami promised to recover the Democratic Party and to regain the Democrats, the elites and the left-wing supporters. Our opponents are encouraging this and can't wait to see us defeated, but we will not give them this opportunity. We will come out stronger from this race, saying some truths which should have been said earlier, and not by speaking badly about each other, declared Selami. The candidate added that the biggest problem for the Democratic Party is failing to follow the rules. Mr. Selami wants to engage in making a deep analysis to determine how to set the party back on a functioning path across all sectors. Our weakest point is the failure to follow the rules. If we sign a contract together on July 22, and I truly believe it will happen because the model I offer is contemporary and winning, we will start a deep analysis of all the sections and subsections in order to turn them back to normalcy, including competition and meritocracy. You will choose who will represent you at both the central and local levels, declared Selami, before reiterating that the race is unequal. Candidate Selami committed to including an article in the party statute which will ensure the chairman's resignation in the case of a loss at elections. The race is not perfect. Let's include an article in the statute which will provide for the chairman's resignation if he loses, without giving him the opportunity to run again for party chairman, declared Selami. The youth is in focus for candidate Selami, who thinks that a new approach is needed to motivate those who have lost hope in the Democratic Party. The Commission for the Organisation of Elections in the Democratic Party held a meeting today and decided not to publicise the list of Democratic Party members, but to distribute them for internal use. The Commission has clarified that the members' data is personal and based on the law of protection of personal data, they cannot be made public. Apart from the legal reason, the Commission says that there are also moral reasons for non-distribution of the list of party members, arguing that the publication of the list may cause problems to members with jobs in administration. The Commission for the Organisation of Elections in the Democratic Party has data that relates to the constitution of voting commissions, voting centres, and the additional lists for 64 out of 68 Democratic Party branches. The Commission set July 16 as the final date for the candidates to submit their list of the representatives in the 68 voting commissions. Tirana's City Hall has started with its project to open summer camps for needy children. The Mayor declared that City Hall will focus more on the social centres in order to help needy children and their families. The Mayor joined a group of children at the summer camp at the Lake Park, where he had this to say. This is only one of the summer camps we are organising. We have set up camps in other administrative units as well. Many children will receive services from the City Hall. We will offer food in the camps and in the other social camps in order to make sure that everyone receives the City Hall's help and that solidarity is offered to these people. We will make sure that there is solidarity in Tirana and that everyone will at least have a meal, declared the Mayor. Mr. Veliaj went on to express his gratitude to those involved in the project, stating, "I want to thank the volunteers who are offering food or other things, making the life of others better and making sure that our social centres function during the whole year, including the summer season." That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.